welcome to Science Tonight. Please give it up for your host, Dr. Mark Poppenshaw.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out to Science Tonight. My name is Dr. Mark Poppenshaw. Let's do a little reminder about what this show is about. What the show is about is ultimately me, because I am somebody who is white, got a PhD in physics and astronomy,
astronomy,
and therefore I'm probably somebody who thinks they know everything. But let me assure you, I'm not like those people. I'm better than them, because I know even more than them. In fact, to prove that, I had to make this show, because I had to bring my brilliant friends, including we've got Iman, we've got Emily, we've got Christina. Let's give them a round of applause. I had to get them, and I had to get some amazing, brilliant guests, like our guest, Kyle. Everybody give a round to Kyle. Kyle Marian, who's going to be our guest for tonight, and I had to bring them onto the show to tell us amazing, interesting things about science so that I could tell them that I already know that. But that's just one thing that the show is about. It's not really about that at all. It's actually about learning about science and hearing about the process, the people, and having that real playful energy around the science as well. And also, it's an idea that in this authoritarian times, it's asking questions of this authoritarian world. Because we are people who believe in science, and when we see the CDC being torn apart, where we see climate change being ripped apart as well, we need to have shows that are able to ask questions of these authoritarian figures who want us to just take their answers. And so that's what this show is about, because we are people who believe that we need science today, we need science tomorrow, and luckily right now, it's Science Tonight, everybody! Fantastic. All right, let's get into our first segment of the night. Local news and Mark's views. Give that a round of applause. All right. So to get started, a new news story that Sauron's eye has found some hipster orcs. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. Who's been to Brooklyn? I know we're here in Work Island. Yeah, some people here have been to Brooklyn. Well, if I say the address 55 Fleet Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11201, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But if I say the Sauron Tower, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. Because it is the tallest tower in downtown Brooklyn, and it looks exactly like Sauron's Tower. In fact, so much so that the New York Post has this ridiculous article about it. New Brooklyn Tower divides New York City in its evil Sauron vibes. And so yeah, it's this giant tower, and it looks very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings. The question, though, becomes, can we henge it? And what do I mean by that? Well, we have Manhattan Henge here on Manhattan, where it is this moment that the sun sets just along the grid line of Manhattan. And it happens during the summer, and it's a really special thing. And if you don't know about it, I encourage you to look out for it next summer. We've just passed the time for it now. But the question became, could the sun take the place of Sauron's eye on top of it? And somebody figured out that it could. And it did. It happened on August 12th. It was last month. There it is, reminiscent of the movie. In fact, we have a clip. So this was done by New York Groove, a small little paper here in New York. And so here's a clip from their video.
I think it is everything I hoped for. It lined up perfectly. You know, the timing was right. There's so many people here, which I'm amazed that this many people came out for it. What was a stupid idea a week ago is now a very real thing.
Look at all these nerds that came out of here. Oh, dorks. That's right. That's my pun. Not orcs, but dorks. And so the organizer, the person who figured this out was Kevin Kline, who is not an astronomer, but is an urban planner and city planner, and so was able to realize that there was a moment and a place in Brooklyn where you could see the sun take this form. And let's hear what some of the participants thought of it.
I can't see anymore.
Were you blinded by the evil or just the regular sun?
I was blinded, maybe by both. I mean, who's to say? I guess we'll find out in the coming days.
I'll say, you're blinded by the sun. Don't look at the sun. I'm an astronomer. Please don't look at the sun. I am begging you all, don't look at the sun without eye protection every time. Eye damage can happen so fast, just in a matter of seconds. So really, please be very careful. Don't look directly at the sun. You're basically burning a pixel in your, when a pixel on a screen burns out and fails, you're basically doing that to your eye. And it can happen within a minute of just looking at the sun. And you think sunglasses are helpful, but they're really not. Every time there's a solar eclipse, we as astronomers have to spend months and months and months trying to tell people what are the correct things to use to look at the sun. And let me tell you, sunglasses are not the correct things to do. They do not work. You need to be using eclipse glasses. You need to be very careful when looking at the sun. Your eyes are not made to look at the sun. So let's again hear what she has to say.
But for one moment, very beautiful, but I can't tell anymore because I can't see.
She can't see because she wasn't using the right thing. Those sunglasses aren't going to work. Eclipse glasses block 99.9999% of the sunlight, and that's what makes them safe to look through. Sunglasses actually are worse for you because they make the pain less without really reducing the amount of light. So it actually makes it worse for you in the long run when you use sunglasses to look at the sun. So again, please don't look at the sun, because if you look through a palantir, Sauron looks back at you. But if you look at the sun, you end up with Sauron eyes. Okay? So please, don't look at the sun like this. And if there's any reason that I should have got involved in this, it was just to protect people from damaging their eyes. So let's move on from evil all-seeing eyes to evil all-seeing AIs. And here's a picture of evil billionaire Peter Thiel, owner of Palantir, or like founder of Palantir. And I just want to talk about a little bit about AI and kind of how I've been thinking about it lately. And right now, AI is very poorly defined in our kind of common lingo, the way we talk about it. Sometimes we're talking about LLMs, like ChatGPT, which are just large language models, which are really just only good at guessing what the next word is in a sentence. And then there's like machine learning that we use in science as well, very similar. And then also, we're nowhere near general AI, which is kind of like data that we would have from Star Trek or something like that. So there's deliberately muddying of all these different terms by the people who are either proponents for AI or want it to be adopted. But I think we can all agree that AI has been very forcibly integrated into many different parts of our life. Besides the ethical issues in how these AI are trained, they're basically being forced onto everything, and I don't really feel like the way that they're being used is solving very major problems. I'm half expecting laundromats to be having an AI chatbot any second now as well. Which, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. They're showing up everywhere. And the reason I feel like this conversation isn't necessarily useful in our society right now is because of climate change. It's always about climate change. As a scientist, as a science communicator, I'm always thinking about climate change and how we could get people activated around that. This is a graphic of the planetary boundary. So rather than just climate change, what are other ways that humans are affecting the planet? So climate change is one of these 9 different slices of the pie. There's other things in here: ocean acidification, novel entities, which is a kind of catch-all term kind of thing. But in 2009, we had measured about 7 of them and 3 that we had overtaken. We had gone beyond those boundaries. And in 2015, we had surpassed another 2. So we were up to 5 that we had surpassed. But 2015, also, if you don't remember, was right around when the cultural conversation around plastic straws really started. And whether you needed to use plastic straws or whether you needed to use paper straws, and how that was showing up and how you could help save the environment in that way. And remember, that was what we were all really focused on. We were talking about how we could use straws. Well, in that time, since then, in 2023, we passed another few boundaries, okay? So of these 9, now there's 7 that we have gone beyond and others that are still trying to be assessed. And so I just want to point out that the conversations we're having are really affecting what kind of change we can have on the world around us. And a lot of these conversations around AI don't focus on their climate impact. They are building these AI data centers is only going to accelerate this trend of how we are showing up and surpassing these planetary boundaries. And in fact, especially in the way that fresh water is being used. And you'll hear more about that in this show. And so this is a title saying, AI is draining water from areas that need it most, okay? And the reason, again, this conversation, and I'm framing it as a conversation, is because the CEOs behind these AI companies have actively given up on trying to save climate change, and they're saying that out loud. So the former CEO of Google is saying this. Sam Altman thinks that AI is going to suddenly fix everything, but it's using this digital idea of knowledge that is not proven to really be useful yet to try and fix these physical problems that we have solutions for, or that we could find solutions for in a physical sense. And so that is why I think that this conversation around AI is very misleading, because it's moving us away from what actually needs to be done. And it's outsourcing our thinking. That's what AI is trying to do. It's trying to say, you don't have to think anymore. Put it into this magic box, and it's going to think for you. Whether it's Sam Altman trying to solve this, or ChatGPT. You know, your everyday use of ChatGPT also isn't even that accurate. It's still barely approaching the level of accuracy of your uncle, okay? So it's still got a long way to go in that sense. This is a big, scary project, or topic, and so I always like to invoke Carl Sagan when it comes to this. If you'd all like to join me in invoking Carl Sagan.
Billions and billions.
Fantastic, good. He has a wonderful quote about this. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, but the illusion of knowledge. And if I could call AI anything, it is the illusion of knowledge. This is a big, scary thing. Why are we talking about it in this way? I don't know. This is the second episode of our show. We're still trying to figure out how we want to talk about this ourselves. But I want to leave with this thought, hopefully, that humans solve problems through cooperation, right? It's not going to be any one person who solves this. It's going to be groups of people together. And that human knowledge is basically cooperation across generations, right? These ideas have accumulated. They're here for us now, brought by our forebears in that way. Also saying that systemic change is possible when people come together. And it is by organizing with others that you can make the most impact. So I want to leave you with those thoughts. And we're still trying to figure out ourselves how we want to talk about billionaires on the show. We're still sorting that out for ourselves. I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Baron Von Teal, of course. We all know this. I'm not who you're thinking of. I'm a legally distinct entity spelled T-E-A-L, Teal. And you may be thinking of the guy who started the company, that data mining surveillance company called Palantir, based on the Lord of the Rings orb.
Okay.
But my data surveillance, mass surveillance data mining company is called Nazgul, after the corrupted kings from Lord of the Rings, which is completely different.
Okay. Great. So,
Mr. Poppinchuk, I believe...
It's Dr. Poppinchuk.
I believe that we spend too much time thinking about climate change and not enough time thinking about AI, like my nemesis, Greta Thunberg.
Yes. Yes, I guess all billionaires hate Greta Thunberg. I guess that makes sense.
The point is, as an investor in this show, I demand, do it for the political influence.
Okay.
I demand that we integrate AI.
Well, I don't really think we need to have an AI component to the show. It's all people. We've got amazing scientists. We've got amazing science communicators.
We need to reduce the human labor, okay? I don't have time to be doing actual work, okay? I'm a billionaire. I have things to do. I'm busy, all right? I got to go get a blood transfusion later from a young teenager.
It doesn't really sound like you care much about the human race.
I care a lot about the human race, the race to replace humans with AI.
Okay. Great. If you really want to force an AI component to the show, whatever will get you to leave the stage.
Well, I think this. We're going to have an AI reporter, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to build an AI reporter, and you know what? I have a guy who builds the AI reporter for me, but I fired that guy. I replaced him with AI. So I'm going to get my AI. I'm going to ask my AI to tell the other AI to build an AI, and they're going to make an AI reporter. And that's what they're going to do. And you're going to see it's going to be excellent.
Okay. Everyone, billionaire Baron Von Teal, everybody. Boo, yeah, let's get those boos going. Next time he comes out, boo him, boom, boom. That'll be great. Fantastic. All right.